This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last scare. One last scare. One last scare.
Welcome to The Last Scare, a home for horror nerds to come together and gush about their favorite feel-good topic.
Genre.
Shit. It's because you said topic before it.
I said don't say topic.
I know, but you put it in my brain. I had it as a topic in episodes, but it's
I just
fine.
remind you every time.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Good.
No, we're good.
We're
It's
grooving.
fine.
We're moving, we're balling.
We are grooving, and we have an episode that I'm super excited about, but also I'm surrounded by my favorite horror nerds. I am surrounded by my favorite horror nerds, including Cam and Blake and Sabrina. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, go ahead.
You just did.
I know I did.
That pretty much does it. But
I'm
maybe
still
they want
Blake.
to say hi. Maybe they're excited. I don't know.
No, I'm excited for this.
We even
No,
though I love you guys so much. Even though Halloween has come and passed, we have some really exciting things to talk about, including a revisitation to a found footage horror series. 8 years now, guys. I'm pretty sure 8 years long.
8?
Yeah.
eight
amazing.
years. 8 years from the very first Hell House
Oh my God.
LLC. We are now visiting the origins of that. So you guys, I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on it first, before me.
Who wants to go first?
Who wants to go
I'll
first?
I'll go first.
I knew you
Um,
would, Blake.
I love this franchise. I couldn't recommend it more to anybody that likes found footage horror movies or has never heard of this, because I feel like it's a very hidden gem of a horror franchise.
Very
Nobody
underrated.
ever talks about it.
Very underrated.
Yeah. I saw the first one a long time ago, and then I watched it with Sabrina and she loved it, so we watched 2 and 3, and now this is the 4th one. And I don't think you have to see the others to understand this one, but to pick up on some of the connections to the larger narrative, I think it helps. Kind of like Saw X. You don't need to see all of them, but it really helps your experience with this one. And I don't know if Sabrina agrees with me exactly, but I think it's the best one. It's between this and the first one. I give this one.
I was like,
put this one
wait,
ahead.
You gotta mention the first one too. You gotta mention the
Yeah,
first
the
one.
first one is the foundation of this one, and I put this one a little ahead because of the stronger characters and a stronger story. Like the first one's simple, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just like the layers of this one, and it's once you get to the end, it's like shit.
Oh, Blake.
No spoilers. No
It's
spoilers.
just
Blake.
crazy. It's crazy.
I love you both so much. Don't get me wrong.
But? Is
Oh,
there a
no.
but there?
There's a slight, but I always hate being the person that to do this, but I just really didn't like Margaret. I didn't like her at all.
Oh my God!
I'm
literally
so
said the
sorry.
same exact thing to Blake.
She was a good character, but
Come on,
character.
She
Are
was
we talking
so...
about Lena Dunham here?
Yes.
Yeah, oh my God, she did look like her.
God.
Stop!
I
I
was.
kept thinking it was her. I was like, oh no.
My only thing, Blake, with her is I felt like she just completely ignored everyone else that was surrounding
did.
her.
That was
Her
like-
girlfriend,
absolutely.
her brother, and like just I couldn't find her compelling because that's
Awful, man. It was
You
You know
awful.
what I
She didn't talk
mean?
about anybody.
Yeah. There were
That-
times where the brother's like, I'm concerned for our safety, we should go. And then it gets to the point where even the partner was like I'm out the door. I will leave you if you're not with me.
She did it like a long time ago. That's my whole thing. Like
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the
No,
thing.
the
They
one
they kept
didn't have-
pushing it back. I'm like, oh no.
they didn't
Fine.
have
No,
to
the
One
one
more
time
day.
that was like a big oof was that when the girlfriend was like in an interview and then like the whole scary thing happened. She was like, I want to
was
leave.
it.
And then
She
like
was
the
like,
brother
"I'm
comes and
out."
he's like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh, she's fine. I was like, what do you mean she's fine? Like, she just brushed off everybody. And then like when she knew something was wrong with her brother, then she's crying. She's like, oh, now you care. Like, my God.
Right. That was my first thing I said to Cam when we were watching. I was like, they don't have much chemistry, do they?
Not really.
Because she was
More
really
chemistry
just
than the
like
brother.
ignoring her girlfriend's like
Yeah.
worries, concerns, safety, comfort, all that. I feel like maybe. Anyways, I will say Hell House LLC Origins did have the Hell House charisma to it. It did have good tension and scares that we've learned from this series.
Hell House has Riz.
It has a little bit of Riz.
Riz
A little
bit of
those,
Riz.
those clown scares has a little bit of Riz.
Got a little charm.
It is a return to form compared to 2 and 3 by miles for me. And I do think it's a really solid series in general. I just didn't like Margaret. I'm sorry.
I really like 2, but 3 was slow.
3 was
3
wild.
Really for a while.
3 was so wild. Do you want to get into spoilers real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you haven't seen Hell House, the series in general, and you are interested in found footage and possession horror specifically, I do think this is something you should check out just for the sake of it.
I would say watch the original 3 first because
absolutely.
I didn't see the second and third one, and I felt like I was maybe not missing vital information, but missing information that I would need to really fully appreciate the movie.
Right.
I would say I didn't have a lot of skin in the game with it.
The main issue with the Hell House series in general is they don't really trust their mystique. Overall, they just kind of give you everything up front. And that's my biggest complaint about the series. Especially when we get to like the sequels, 2 and 3, where they'll show you flashbacks. So like replay certain moments over and over again. And I'll just trust your audience. That's why I really liked about this movie, which I keep wanting to call a prequel. It's not a prequel. Parts of it is, don't get me wrong.
This one?
They visit it's not a prequel. They visit the
It's set in present day.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
It's like it serves as a prequel and a sequel, as they've stated.
Yes.
So like I think it's both, to be honest. I mean, like but I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's because there's the framing narrative, and then there's the flashbacks. It's all over the place.
It is. That is a part of the Hell House charm if you've seen the series in general. But anyways, no, I do think that there is a lot of merit to be found within this series. There is a lot of good tension to be found within the series whenever it trusts itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's its strongest, because when it doesn't trust itself, it just kind of like shows its cards too early, or it's just like replaying bits over and over again, and that's whenever it's at its weakest. But as far as found footage goes, especially where we're at now, I do think it has a lot of strengths to it that should be visited for anyone that is a big fan of found footage horror. How do you feel about it, Sabrina?
Oh, I love it. I think it's like it's like how I was saying before, it's got like that charm and like the uniqueness and found footage, and I don't know, it does like, like the typical found footage in like any found footage movie, but like it also just has its own like charm, and like I like how they kind of brought back the most one of the most iconic things from the first one, which is like the clowns and kind of like the origins of them, which was really, really, really cool. Because I was like, I want to see the clowns, and like halfway through I was like, I was trying to figure out if it connected to the first one at all, and then like when they started showing the clowns, that's when I was like, okay. I was like, all right, now we're getting like I said, I know how we were saying before, prequel plus sequel kind of thing. But I like the background on everything, because now they're expanding the lore on everything. Because like with 3, you think they're done, and then they just kind of come out with this one, and like I think they even said that like eventually they want to like expand on it more, and I think that's what kind of makes it so special, is just the lore and like the universe and like everything else. I don't know, I love it. I think it's so like cool and unique, like the way they do it. But like how you're saying before, I think with like when they kind of redo things, then that's where it's at weakest. Like I think 3 kind of had some of that, but that's kind of where we're gonna like not really talk about that one as much. But all the other ones are just like solid and do like their own thing, but they all still like connect, and like I don't know. they're just like they're just underrated gems. Like as Blake said before, they really are.
Absolutely, Sabrina. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Jordan and Lil Wolfie. I'm so happy to see you both here. Jordan, you should watch the first Hell House and the House is October built back to back because that's how I did it. And I found a great appreciation for both. But that's great. Such people have found footage. And I agree with Sabrina. It's a very interesting series as far as found footage goes because it's so dedicated to its ideas. It's so dedicated to what it wants to do and the end story, the end game of it, if you will. Yeah, and that's not something you really see in found footage that much. Like I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. The writer, the writer and director, he really plays out what he wants to do with the series, and it's so out there. But I see his vision, and I can't help but respect that. Blake, how do you feel about overall Hill House and how this Origins plays? My brain just blanked. Origins plays in it overall.
Overall, I love the franchise. I think just that eerie atmosphere of with the first three movies, the Abaddon Hotel, you just get this really creepy vibe that it's haunted. So the stage is already set. And then with the Carmichael Manor, it's kind of the same thing. And the director even said this isn't a part 4 and it's not necessarily a prequel, even though, of course, a lot of the story takes place before the first three. But the intention is to do these standalone stories that kind of expand, like Sabrina said, the lore and the world building of Hell House, which I think is genius because there's just so much for you to do in this world. They really lay the groundwork in those first three, which is why I say it's integral to watch those before this one, because then you know every corner that they're trying to hit with this Origins movie, and the end really gives you an idea of what the next one could be, and just the promise of what this franchise could end up being is really exciting. Because even though I don't love 3, I don't think there's been any misses, like genuine misses so far.
Absolutely, Blake. I feel like there are weak spots within Hell House as a series or a franchise, or whatever you want to call it. However, especially when it comes to found footage, I do think Hell House is really strong overall. I completely agree. I just find that the first one and Origins play more towards its strengths overall. Even though I just don't like Margaret. I'm sorry. I just don't like her.
I don't like her either.
It's just a me thing. It's
I really
all
don't
on
think
me.
you're supposed to like her.
She was so annoying. She was driving me crazy. You can ask Cam. I was why? Like,
I did the same thing to Blake. I was like, she's the most irritating.
She was
like person.
She was irritating, and I feel like Hell House is almost like the Saw of found footage because they do this big reveal.
Yeah. That is something.
I say that with love. Go ahead, Cam.
Having only sort of seen the first one, I did feel like I was missing out on a lot of stuff with the ending. They're like, "Ooh, here's the clown." It's like the clown's been here throughout this whole movie, but it's like. It does seem like a big reveal that I was missing out on at the end.
Yeah,
no,
you definitely
the second
did.
and third ones.
Because that's why I was like, what I was saying, like seeing them for the first time, I was like, oh my god, I was like, come on, show me the clowns. I gotta see the clowns. I was like, the clowns! I was like,
clowns!
We love clowns.
Cool, but they're so creepy.
What I loved so much about it was like early on in the movie, they're she was at a carnival and this man tried to lure her away. And it was like, it was the creepy fucking clowns. Excuse my language, but like
the CFCs.
it fell into place really well. I'm just used to the beats of horror, and even though I didn't like Margot.
I think
Margot. I don't know. I didn't like her. I felt like she was a bad friend and a bad sister because she was like, "No, just take your meds. It's fine. No, we can just wait a little bit."
Yeah.
Yeah, she got all of them killed.
She did. She did.
I mean,
Blake.
not to be that person, but she kind of got what she deserved. So
She did, but she didn't take everyone down with her.
yeah,
Listen,
they literally her brother and her partner could have been like sayonara, and
but I feel like that frustration is a really great tool for horror because you kind of like you desperately want them to like just get out of there. And there's one person because like I don't know, I feel like if there's someone I loved that was putting that pressure on me, I feel like I would
Make a movie, Jayla.
Whoa. I will. I feel like I would kind of linger a little bit because I wouldn't want to abandon people I love. So I can't give too much shit to the people around her. But she's a shitty person, a little bit, just a little bit. She was really excited about those true crime stories.
And like even like her brother and like her brother like pointed it out. It was like, okay, you go to these houses and like find out if they're haunted, when it's haunted, you just don't want to stay here. Like they're just basically like telling you not to stay here, and she's like, no, we're fine. Like, bro, I would not sleep there. Like, that's crazy.
Literally. No, there was one scene she was like, oh, you're talking about all these other places that are like supposedly haunted, but the one place that actually is, you want to leave? And I was like, no, no, I do want to leave.
Pretty much to find out if they're haunted or not, and then get out.
Yeah, no, I'm out. I'm done.
It was a good point.
Okay,
but
cool, got my answer. Bye.
What were you saying?
It was a good point, but also that is what they were there for.
No, they were there to solve a cold case.
Yeah,
that was her whole bit because she was like a little
That's true,
kid.
but you could also argue that the case wasn't solved.
I mean, yeah, she was a little kid and she was almost kidnapped, and that gave her trauma. So when she grew up, she's like, I'm going to solve cold cases. She did not have to stay there.
Okay, fair enough.
She's just a bit of a dummy, but it's okay.
You still love her.
I mean, like, they almost got away when they went in the woods, but then something scared them back.
Don't even give me a start, Sabrina.
Yeah,
Don't
Sabrina
even
got her
on that. Do
fucking
not.
movie.
I was so
He literally
mad
looked
at
at me
them.
when that happened. He's like, are you serious? And I was like, no way.
I was like, you have so many directions to run towards. Wy go back to the house?
That was crazy.
But also, I don't know.
With you, I'd rather be with like the ghosts and clowns than like that cool. Like,
No.
like,
No.
Sabrina,
All they're
fuck
gonna
those
do is
clowns.
I don't know, man. I mean, but it was all connected anyway, so they were never safe anywhere. So it was great.
That's fair. That's very
Yeah,
fair. That's
also
a thought I had too.
That was
I was
such a
like,
great reveal. Like I loved it so much.
It was freaky.
I just okay. Well, if anyone doesn't already know, I love like cult reveal things in horror movies.
Hell
I
yeah.
don't know why.
No.
If it wasn't already
What?
obvious. Like
That's
to make fun of me.
me.
He's like, "Why are you so obsessed with cults?" And I'm like, "I don't really know because like I don't want to condone them, right?" So is that the word?
Condone. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't condone
It's
them.
an interesting subject
They're
matter.
so interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
So interesting.
That's why
The
there's
last
so many
scare
horror
does
movies.
not condone cults.
We don't like
No,
cults.
no.
We just
We
find
don't like
them
cults, but we
interesting.
think they're interesting. And
It was a few streams ago where I said I wish we had our own shirts because of the inside jokes. And after watching this movie for Sabrina's, I just want like a cult with a little cartoon Sabrina, like it's a cult.
Yay!
That's
I love
hers.
Sabrina. I feel like
we
she
all
would
have
be
them.
excited to be a part of a cult. Just
He's
to
like,
be involved.
He's
Like,
so bad.
yay!
He's like, you and your fucking cults. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's cool.
It's about community. I get it.
I don't mean to be woke, but like cults are bad.
Nah.
I think Kim's spitting.
We're firing Cam.
Nah, don't be dramatic, Cam. They're fine. They're fine. They're cool. They're hip. They're in.
I
They never got
actually
style.
no, I have a lifelong dream of starting a cult.
He
She asks really, and it's like it's kind of a joke.
No,
It's kind of a
no.
joke, but it would be cool though.
No, it would not be cool.
Just ask
Yeah.
I
her
mean,
about it.
not to
All
like
these
say
people
I'm gonna join a
following me?
cult.
I would
but,
have a
like,
raccoon cult.
if you're starting a cult, you know where to find me. You know where to find me.
Anyways, you guys have any?
Are you willing to relocate?
Sure.
We
I'm like,
have
bye, Blake, I'm going to
great
follow
barbecue.
cults. He'd be like, what?
I feel like
Look at
before
me sit down with my shit.
before we move on, I feel like cults have really like untapped power
Oh
for
yeah.
good. You have a cult.
Wow.
You
Crazy
That's the
take.
hottest take I've ever heard in my
have a
life.
cult. And we could just like feed homeless people.
Nah.
We could just like help people.
No, why?
And
why
they
do that when
listen to
can
you. 'Cause
sacrifice
it's a cult.
souls? Come on, Jayla, come on, get with the program.
It
Why
is
would you do
a
that when
cult.
you can literally just sacrifice souls?
If it's a cult, listen. Before I move on, if it's a cult, they just listen to you. We can just like make a bunch of food and pass it out.
That can be like the side hustle of the cult.
Side hustle?
Yeah, that's not their
cover up
main.
You want to
the
make
devil
music
worship.
like
Mhm.
Manson? That's a dark joke.
Yeah,
Anyways,
he started
Use your
going on
power
side
for
quests.
good.
we're on a tangent. Does anyone have anything else to say about Hell House LLC Origins?
Go
So
watch
Morrison,
Go watch it.
Yes!
Watch Hell House.
Yes!
Why not?
Jordan says
Yes,
his joint
Jordan.
can get Kool-Aid.
It was actually Flavor Aid.
I was gonna say that. I was like, wait, am I the only one that knows that, or is that like a joke? Is that like a meme that everyone
Kool-Aid
knows?
because he was a cheap
No, it's a meme
and an
everyone knows,
asshole.
kind of.
Oh damn. Okay. Thought I was on.
If you're like
something there.
super into them, then yes, like I know.
You're around horror nerds, Cam.
Can't
I don't know
really
what to tell
Okay,
you.
okay, I'll shut my trap.
But guys, folks, I don't know about you, but I was way too deep on the internet around 2014, and this little indie game came out called
Oh my
Five
God.
Nights at Freddy's. And now we're here at 2013, and we're sitting in theaters, and we're watching Five Nights at Freddy's movies.
It is 2013, isn't
It
it?
is 2013. So I will preface this really quickly that I was really heavy in like the Let's Play era of game of like 2014, 2013, especially horror. So I was involved with like the 2 through 3 for Five Nights at Freddy's. And this awoke that part of me, surprisingly.
I hope this doesn't
This-
awaken anything.
This
in me.
movie, it's so bizarre. It's so wild to me to be able to sit in the theater and watch this, even though I know like I kind of grew out of it, and it's directed towards a younger audience than I am. It kind of makes me happy. Before I get into my thoughts on it, who wants to go? Blake or Sabrina? Blake went first last time. Sabrina?
I started last
Okay.
time.
Sabrina?
Okay.
Sabrina,
Okay.
give me your thoughts on Five Nights at Freddy's.
Like the movie or the game too?
The movie.
Okay. So I kind of like knew just like the basics about the game. I didn't know like the full lore until like 2-3 days ago. Actually no, like almost a week ago since the movie came out. I've been like looking up the lore because I'm like, what like I wanted to understand what was happening. I liked it. I think at first because like we just rewatched it like an hour ago. I can't fully speak for Blake because I know Blake's kind of played it. I kind of knew the basics, but I didn't really understand things. Like, you know how when they make a video game adaptation, they explain things, but I was still very confused because I didn't know the lore. So like I felt like it was missing some of that because I don't know. I felt very, very lost. But then looking up the lore and then watching it kind of adds more context to it. So then second time around, I really enjoyed it more. It's like it's fun, but I mean, I wish it was more scarier. Like I wish they did more jump scares and kind of like took advantage of I think in the games they do like the monitors and stuff of like them slowly moving until like they scare you. I wish they kind of did something like along those lines, but they didn't really do a lot with the animatronics that they could have, and that kind of was a bit of disappointment. I don't know. I used to be like creeped out by the game, and I just think that they could have done more, but I guess it was because they wanted to make it for kids too. But like kids play the game and it's still kind of like scary with the jump scares. So I don't know. Once you get past that, I think everything else is just great. I'm trying to think if there's like anything else I want to say that's not spoiler. Yeah, no, I don't want to spoil anything yet. So that will be like my thoughts for now.
Sabrina, like I've touched on what Cam a little bit. A lot of my thoughts that align with what you've said. the lore to Five Nights at Freddy's is so wild.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers to the
Yeah.
point where like I refreshed my memory and I texted Cam. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna make this PG-13 movie work at all because it's pretty dark, but also kids love Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, it's like
They
crazy.
they love it so much. But I do feel like that this was a really great middle ground, even though I would love
Yeah.
to see a R-rated version of this movie, an R-rated version where they just fully dedicated to the lore. I do think the way they adapted it was a bit better than the core lore. Because if you know Five Nights at Freddy's, or if you don't, you have to like search it out. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going into this not knowing the lore either because
Right.
we only played the first 3 nights of the first game.
Oh man, there's
turns out
so
that-
much crazy shit going on.
And it turns out that most of the lore isn't in that first game.
It's bonkers. Which like I like slapped Cam for reference. I slapped Cam's hand or arm, and I was, oh my god, that's a map pad. That's fucking game theory. And he's like, Jayla.
It's just because you said it like out loud.
Because I
Like,
was so
that
excited.
is the guy from Game Theory. I'm like, Jayla, there's other people here.
Listen. The only person that would have gotten a bigger reaction out of me was Markiplier, because I was.
I'm pretty sure he was in the movie.
He was not.
I think he has an
Cam,
appearance
he
of
was.
some sort.
Cam, he
I've
wasn't.
heard rumbles.
Actually, I
He
think I
wasn't.
feel like I heard
I
the
would
other
know.
day that he was supposed to be in it, and then he like got cut.
He had scheduling conflicts,
Yeah,
or else
that's
he
what
was
he did.
going to be in it.
He was supposed to be the opening scene. The guy that got like
Would
his
have
facial
been
mashed
so
up.
good.
Oh, the guy who got saw trapped by
He-
the animatronics.
We'll get to that. Before we get to that, let's just I'll wrap it up real quick. I think this is a good horror movie to like take your like tweens to, especially if they like horror video games. I think this is solid. I like this way more than I thought I did.
Same,
Cam?
yeah.
Yeah.
I also really appreciate it.
I really do love this. Maybe it's part of me that loves the community, even though I've left that long ago. I picked up on a lot of things as my
It always
refresher.
stays with you. It
Yeah,
always stays with you.
yeah. After my refresher, I picked up on a lot of things within this movie that just made me happy. It made me happy for the younger kids that are able to go see this. I don't think this should be rated R. Honestly, I feel like this should be accessible to the younger audience because that's where this lies.
Yeah, I
I
don't think
think
it should be
so.
rated R. I just wish they did more jump scares. That's really like
Honestly, it is a jump scare video game. Cam,
Well, I also think an R-rated cut wouldn't be out of line. I
Yeah.
mean, this is Blumhouse.
I
They
agree.
did that with Megan and whatnot. They've probably done it with other movies.
no, I do agree with you. I feel like if there is an R-rated cut, I'd be really happy with that. But also, if they
Oh.
sat down and made this for a younger audience, that's something that makes me happy too. Because they need something to introduce themselves into the genre, or if they just love FNAF, they need that too.
The
Because
first F is silent. It's just now.
because a majority of the FNAF audience is younger, and it honestly it warms my heart to see this moment in film for them, that's well made, that has behind it. I felt like whenever we watched it, I felt like it had passion behind it, and I think that's really great. And that's great to see.
Like good horror that's accessible to kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Especially with FNAF, because what's
Nah.
so wild to me compared to the lore, it's so great to see kids love it. So it's so great to see that they made the movie accessible to them. Wait, do you have anything to say about this non-spoiler before we get into all the spoilery bits?
You actually set me up for what I was going to say is the kids enjoying this movie, because I've always said there's something horror for everybody of all ages. With little kids, you have stuff like Goosebumps and everything R.L. Stein's ever done in his life. And I feel like Five Nights at Freddy's is kind of that for kids these days. They love the games, and obviously the books and the toys and all of it is really pushed towards kids these days. And the fact that they made the movie accessible for kids, that's why it made so much money. Every kid wanted to go see that movie, and I'm so glad they liked it, and it actually made me like it more. The first time me and Sabrina walked out of it, I was like, okay. I enjoyed it,
Yeah.
but it could have been so much better. But over the week, going into the lore and just seeing the reactions to it from actual fans who's played all the games and kids that were really looking forward to it,
And all
just
the
love
memes
it.
kind of made it better
Yeah,
too.
and the memes, it just added so much more to it. So when we rewatched it today, I was like, yeah, this is a lot better. I had a better time with it, and to see it definitely getting a sequel now, based on how well it's doing, it makes me excited. And my gripes with it are pretty much the same as Sabrina's. I wish they just, I mean, for a game that's built on jump scares, this was like the one movie that would have got a pass to do as many jump scares as possible, and no one
I did it
really
like
give them
once, and I
flack
was like,
for
oh
it.
man, it could have
Yeah, they didn't do that
really.
much, and I'm
Yeah.
fine with it not being that violent. An R-rated cut definitely wouldn't hurt. I think that would just kind of add to the kids that grew up with it that are now around my age, like mid-20s. But that way kids can see it in the theater, since they should normally be released PG-13. But other than that, my gripes with it are pretty small. We'll get into when we talk spoilers, and it could be addressed in the sequel. So I don't really hold the movie that accountable yet.
Yeah, and to lead us into our spoiler talk for
Jumping in.
we're just jumping in.
Jumping in. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. I feel like I don't know. I feel like Five Nights fans are just so like heavy on lore and heavy on theories that they already know. They've already seen it, or they already know, or possibly they got into a fight by now, as we've seen
Oh my God,
already.
yeah.
Blake, I do agree with you. I feel like I walked out of it. Possibly it's a step, not too high, a step more optimistic than you. That's just me in general. Like you said, this really was. They made changes to it. I'll preface it. They made changes to it. Like Mike, for example, Mike's originally William's son, but in this,
I've been telling Blake all the lore.
I'm caught
I
up now.
like
I
that
was like, did you
change.
know it was supposed to be his son? And Blake's like, no. And I was like, well, now you know. Like, I told him like what Matthew Lilliard's like animatronic was called too, and he's like, oh. Like, I had so much more to the context.
I
when we were watching
recognize
it.
the name.
It was great.
Springtrap.
Guys, listen. I refreshed my memory on the FNAF lore, so I am a semi-pro at this point. Excuse me. I just
Wow.
I like the change they made because I went into this like knowing the lore, and the lore is insane. By the way, if you didn't know, because they don't like it, just spell it out for you. You have to like go and search for it. Blah blah blah. No one cares. Anyways, the change they made for Michael, whatever, he was supposed to be William or Matthew Lillard's son in the game. So when I went into this, I'm like, okay, how is this going to play out? Because Michael got his younger brother killed, blah, blah, blah. No one cares.
Okay. Go on.
It's a whole thing. He put his head into
say more.
Go off. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll sum it up in like 30 seconds. Basically, in the video games, Michael was bullying his little brother, as like older brothers sometimes do, and like put his younger brother's head into a Freddy's
Wap?
Freddy's head, and he just crushed his head. It killed him.
Wow.
Ultimately, he lived for a few days afterwards. Killed them all outright. So when I heard Michael, I was like, okay, does he know? But it was Vanessa that was William's son, who William Henry, this isn't going to make any fucking sense to anyone.
No, it is. So in the movie, they changed his child to be Vanessa instead to throw you off.
Right.
Because I remember, like, now that I'm like thinking about it, I even said to Blake that I remember when the first trailer dropped, I didn't know what it meant at the time, but like everyone was saying, they're like, oh, what if he's William Afton? And I was like, and now I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I'm like, it was kind of right there. Everyone was already predicting that, huh? And they're like, oh, what if he's his son? And then like, now that it's Vanessa as the kid, it's like, oh, okay. And like, I don't know, I've heard a theory about her too for the sequel, but I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
They did make differences. That's my whole point. Nothing I said within the past 2 minutes makes sense to anyone that hasn't played the games. Basically, they changed things up. But I do like
Yeah.
it because it was a good surprise for me personally, and also it made sense within the world the film verse is building. I enjoyed it because I played video games. I have fun, and for me,
You sound like you're trying to convince yourself.
No, it's kind of crazy. What I realized was that, like through the lore, is that in the games, like Mike was the son, and like Vanessa was just some random security guard, and then like they kind of changed the two just to kind of throw people off, which was really good. But
Yeah, at first I thought they were trying to shoehorn a love interest in when they introduced her character.
yeah, I mean that you kind of think that a little bit towards the end, but like I don't know.
I think they're just homies.
so much.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I don't know
no,
it's gonna have romance. And come on, it's about animatronics. You don't need to freaking have a romance.
Yeah.
I was a bit stressed about Vanessa in particular because I knew that like Michael was playing the role that Vanessa like they swapped it.
Yeah.
Long story short, but I liked it a lot actually. And they kind of like glossed over the whole like dead children's bodies being stuffed into animatronics.
I literally said it to Blake. I was like, they really brush over that, huh? Don't they?
I'm sure the sequel will go way more into stuff like that.
Exactly, Blake. That's what I was going to say before I toss it to you guys. They kind of also it's not ghosts, it's their bodies.
Yeah, so like Stu at the end gets his ribs and which great reveal. I never.
How did you not know?
I didn't.
Literally.
I just thought it was like, oh, a Scream reference. Didn't even like at that moment. I just didn't expect. I'm pretty sure I had seen something online saying that he was a villain, but then he disappeared for the rest of the movie, and I wasn't really thinking about him. So when he was revealed,
actually, I think that was the point. That was definitely the point.
Yeah.
I started giggling so hard.
when he was revealed,
giggling.
I decided like this is my Scream 6. This is what we wanted back in March.
Mhm.
Like,
It's so true.
Sabrina remembers the second he walked out of the shadow. I was like, Matthew Lillard, 100%
Literally.
is him. Sabrina's like, you think? I'm like, I know. It's gonna be him.
quick hello to dreaded.
Hi, dreaded.
We're talking about Fridays and Freddy's.
We're
No,
having fun.
Because like again, because you literally forget about him until the very end.
I'm like, who
Also,
else is it
Blake
gonna
said
be?
something to me that I actually don't think I watched the last two trailers, or if there's like one or two, whatever, where they revealed that one shot of him bending down. I had no idea about that until the movie.
I thought it was Freddy. In my mind, it didn't
Yeah.
even register that it was a totally different animatronic. I didn't know the lore before this movie.
I didn't know the lore, and then I was like, "That's Springtrap, Bonnie." Like,
Yeah.
you need
Oh
to
my
know now.
god.
So I thought that the character of Max was the actress that plays Charlie in Hereditary. At like halfway through the movie, right before she dies, I was like, something just clicked in my brain. I was like, oh my god, that's the girl from Hereditary.
The Bite of 87.
I looked it up about 5 minutes ago during this live show because I forgot to look it up earlier. It's not her. But I was like, oh my god, that's her. She's like grown up. It's not her.
I don't think she's done any movies since Hereditary. I don't think she wanted to be an actress.
Wait, are you talking about who are you talking about?
Millie Shapiro is the actress from Hereditary.
No,
I was
but
talking
yeah,
about
did she play in the movie?
She's
not in the movie.
She's not in the movie, but I thought that the babysitter Max was the girl that gets cut in half.
I was like,
that was a great.
The Bite
kill,
of
by the way.
87. The Bite of 87.
I
What?
think that was
You don't know
their.
about it, yeah.
I said this to Blake the second time we were just watching it. I think like they purposely didn't show a lot of the kills just so they can get away with that one as like the big kill.
Yeah, I
They
definitely think
should.
that helped them
Oh,
Well, yeah, it was like the
absolutely.
most graphic that we saw.
for sure. But
I
still,
recall.
kids
That
can handle that.
PG-13 rating. I'm sorry, what?
Oh man, like it's so bizarre to me how much kids love this movie for how much child murder is in
Yeah,
the lore.
I was
Like,
like,
literally,
this is so dark.
I told
is.
Cam, I was like, it's not their girl. Like, listen, This dude murdered kids and he stuffed their bodies into these animatronics. They
so
weren't
fucked up.
killed by the animatronics.
There's
Yeah, like-
so many times me and Sabrina are like, this is dark. Like the
It's super
kidnapping,
dark.
the chub. I was like, shit.
Young horror fans want real horror.
Yeah,
They don't want
absolutely.
they don't want like just Casper the ghost. They
No,
want,
but it is crazy that so many
Yeah.
kids are obsessed with this when that's literally about like a guy who kidnaps kids and like murders them and stuffs them in animatronic bodies. Like that's pretty fucked up.
We had someone show up on Halloween dressed as Freddy Fazbear.
Oh.
I just think it
Oh.
kind of taps into that primal reason that we love horror anyway. I don't think it has to do with us getting old at all. I think it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
something within people like us, you know?
Yeah.
This is.
No, it was just the games though. They were like, what were they cooking?
I have no idea what
Yeah.
this is about.
Jordan says, I don't think most
Yeah.
parents know
Yeah.
that FNAF has so much child murder.
It has a lot of literally, William, he just
Crazy
straight
shit.
up shoots a kid. It's
God,
so bad.
it's brutal out here.
Jaded, I don't know which part that I said was crazy, but I stand by it personally.
Whatever it was.
You said a
I
lot
can't
today,
hide it.
Jayla.
I don't know. I followed the series as I was not a youngin, but I was like, I don't
You're a
know,
little baby child.
enough to be like, yeah, no, this was something that was significant enough to
Yeah.
boost my interest in horror.
Yeah, I think I only knew this jump scares, and I was like, "This is too freaky for me." I was like, "I don't like this." It was like this
I
and
was
Slenderman.
like,
Like
oh,
seeing
yeah.
other people play would fuck me up. So I was like, I don't want any part of either one.
Slender Man is crazy. I need them to give another go at that.
I wish they don't. I really, really hope they don't.
Um,
I don't want to
They
sit there
probably
like
won't.
my final thoughts, and I'm gonna let you guys have the floor after this. My final thoughts for this was it's so great to see something that impacts my generation and generation after me so well, and it's something that's so it's a love letter to it, right? Freaking Matt Pat is a part of this. You know what I mean? So he was such a huge moment of this to me, at least. I love game theory so much, and game theory is part of why I love this. I'm Markiplier, and et cetera, et cetera. I can go on for days. And I do end up feeling that this was a love letter to those fans and the fans that came after us. And I'm really excited. If you guys didn't know, real quick before I pass on, this is a planned trilogy. So the next two are probably going to be prequels, because this most recent one was within lore that I accept. This most recent one was what they took for this movie. So we're gonna get two prequels. I do not acknowledge what came after. So take that from what
Why
you
is it
will.
that bad? Is it that bad?
Yeah, we'll get there. They just kind of like erase everything they did. It's fine.
Dreaded asks, during the scene where Mike breaks back into the pizza place to rescue Abby, did you notice Bonnie was trying to get Freddy's attention?
Yeah. Freddy's like, stop it, let me vibe.
That's like such a meme on TikTok right now. It was like Freddy like feeling himself in song, and then Bonnie's like, "Look at him." And Freddy's like, "Can you let me do what I need to do?"
Listen, guys, I kind of found them cute. I kind of
She thought
Honestly,
all of it, literally
First time
everything
they
they were.
first time they freaked me out because I was thinking about jump scares, but now they're kind of cute.
which that
Except
was my big
Foxy.
point.
I still
I
got
know
beef
you
with
hate
Foxy.
Foxy.
No,
That was my
Foxy's
main
one of my
point.
favorites.
Foxy's like the coolest one because they are the scariest, but I just got beef with Foxy from actually playing the game.
That was my main point. Actually.
Yeah, isn't he like
Yeah.
the
Somebody
fastest
reminded
too,
me.
which is crazy.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
One thing that I actually admire about this before I could get off of Lake was that, like, in the video game scope of everything, they had this super eerie, long timeline before it's revealed that they're just kids. And I like the reversal. I think that's really smart. I think the showing us that at the end of the day, they're kids that got murdered.
Murdered.
And they, I think that's really smart. And then showing their more vindictive and aggressive side later on is going to play out really well for them. But I do like really hammering home that they're kids. They're kids that got killed. Sorry, that's what happened. That's what's going on
A
here.
little somber.
It is somber, and I do like that's what they put weight into, because I feel like the original lore didn't really acknowledge enough to a certain degree. Blake, how do you feel about Five Nights at Freddy's? Your spoilers included. Overall, what do you think about this movie?
After 2 watches and sinking into the lore and seeing fans enjoy it, I like it a lot, considerably more than I did the first time. And I love that Jason Blum is such a fan of horror and this franchise that he created this production company to give fans of horror as much horror content as possible. And the fact that it really shows how much he cares about the fans of Five Nights at Freddy's means a lot, especially for someone that hasn't really played the games. And this movie is what got me into wanting to play the games, which I probably will. Me and Sabrina were looking at the games before the stream, and they're all really cheap on PlayStation and Switch, so we'll probably finally get into them and get ready for the sequels. But yeah, regarding like the stuff I didn't like about this movie is all nitpicks. Like I just want more stuff fleshed out, which I'm sure it will. And I wanted more Matthew Lillard. That's not something I can really knock the movie about because he was used perfectly. It's just I want more. And if that's the biggest negative you can say about it, I want more. That's a good sign.
Oh my gosh. I was cackling like a little old dummy whenever he was fully revealed, because he did the knife swipe, he did all this stuff.
I like
so,
the animatronic.
it's Matthew.
That was so cool.
And like I'm reading the comments as they come in, and I and as well as Blake, I fully agree that I kind of wish that this had more time to breathe, but also I do think that they did well with what they had, and I'm really excited to see the sequels. Like I said, there's a trilogy planned out. Cam, as someone who doesn't have the context, how do you feel about it?
I rather enjoyed it. I didn't, know any of the background lore, but it worked for me as a movie. I mean, I saw some things online where Jason Blum was saying, yeah, this is for the fans. And I saw some reviews saying that this is for the fans and no one else. And I didn't really see that. I actually went in just not super excited for it because I was thinking this isn't for me because I don't know the games. But it worked as a movie for me. It just explained everything it needed to. It had Matthew Lillard. It had Jay Hutch. I don't have strong feelings about
Jay Hutch.
But
you haven't met yet.
It opened.
Seated.
They opened the movie with him and his sister before they say that she's his sister. And I was like,
his kid.
This man is too young to be a father.
That's what I was worried about too.
But he's older than us, and we're in our mid-20s.
I was like, that's
like,
the math.
He's not that old.
He's not that old. He's a little baby face.
When I see him, I think of the movie Catch That Kid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Oh my god.
That's a deep cut. I think of that, and I think of Zathura, the Jumanji spinoff.
Oh, Zathura.
And Bridge Terabithia.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I was thinking about Bridge Terabithia.
What was the dog movie he was in?
Oh, Firehouse Dog.
Yeah, Firehouse Dog.
I
love
was like, okay,
so
that
many
was my
movies.
boy. He's been my boy since day one.
Yeah.
Like immediately, I was like, I know nothing about the game, but like Blake was like, "Are we gonna see this?" And I was like, "I love Josh Hutcherson, so I'll be seated." So yes, but now I love the actual everything else too. I'm sorry, Cam. Go ahead.
You're good. I grew up with him as a child actor, but he was always older than us.
He reminds me of Nathaniel. Nate, you're going to watch this one day. You're going to see it. He reminds me of my older cousin in this movie, and it kind of like spoke to my heart a little bit. I have a little bit of skin in the game on this one.
Yeah, I thought he gave a decent performance.
He did.
I also thought
he had that one tear going on.
I also thought that Matthew Lillard had a good performance as an elderly Dahmer.
Really quick. No, not elderly Dahmer, because never mind.
Hot Dahmer.
Not even that. It's a whole
I'm sorry,
thing.
I can't.
You're good.
No.
I can't with the fetishizing like real life.
My
monsters.
point was I forgot my point now. You have me think about Tom.
That's a whole tangent.
Damn it,
Not going
Cam.
there.
I was making a smart point. I just appreciate his character, Michael's character, and I appreciate his love for his sister and his love for his Rip Garrett sibling. I think that was really sweet. He reminds me of my cousin, my sweet, sweet cousin Nate. And that's great.
Mhm.
That's all I have to say. I don't know.
Jordan
it's
says
weird.
Nav was all right. I'll definitely have to do a rewatch in order to give my full real thoughts. Kind of like what I did with Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I was
Also asked if that's a Green Goblin shirt, which I think it is.
Of
Before
course it
you-
is.
Mhm.
Hey.
the OG purple.
Love
If you guys want to see, even if it's just me, I'll totally listen, guys. I took a deep dive. If you guys want me to do just a deep dive FNAF talk, let us know. I'll do it. I'll
Nah,
sign
You
we
should
myself
should
up.
stream that game.
I will sign myself up for that. That's really fun to talk about for me. I don't know why. It just kind of strict. It just hits a part of my heart for whatever
I'll look in
reason.
more of the lore, Jayla, and I'll talk about it with you just because I have nothing better to do.
I don't know. I cannot explain it to you. I really can't.
No,
There's
I
something
don't know what
part
it
of
is.
me.
It's so interesting now that I'm like reading about it. Like literally for like 4 days straight to Blake, I was like, did you know this? And he's like, no, I didn't. I was like, I'm reading this right now.
Did you know
Oh,
that
Jordan.
originally Freddy Fazbear's was a restaurant? And
Oh
it was
wow, yeah.
It was
yeah.
opened by
No,
two people.
I didn't know that.
One of them now is Matthew Lillard, and the other is a sane person.
Jordan says, "Listen, I'll sit here and listen to you gush over the
Jordan,
lore."
don't tip me. I spent so much time on the lore of FNAF.
Let's go. That shirt's fine.
Ugh. It is a great shirt. I'm kind of jealous. I spent so much time on the lore of FNAF. I'm just waiting for an excuse. But until then, I say that if you guys are into this lore, if you guys just enjoy it. Oh my god, the animatronics, real quick before we go. The animatronics look incredible. They look
Mhm.
absolutely amazing. The design looked amazing. Even though Foxy caught on fire at one point because the animatronics were like they would just heat up and you know what happened.
Well, he was the only one who really like didn't have somebody like in the suit.
Yes.
like-
Yes.
He was too
Uh,
exposed, so they couldn't do anything. So he was
There.
just like, I'm going on fire now.
Right. Their heads were puppeteers, except for
Yeah.
Foxy. She was too thin. Bodies were animatronics. They looked amazing. Foxy did catch on fire if you want to look into the behind the scenes, but also I do feel an inkling to kind of dive into this more when we have more time. I don't know why. Who knows? If you're interested, comment, let us know. Like, Cam.
Yeah, I like the video. Y'all got any last thoughts?
Yes. I looked up, and this is mostly for Sabrina and anyone else that cares. I looked up Josh Hutcherson on IMDb. Oh god, I've seen him in like 100 things. He voiced a young Bruce Wayne in Justice League Unlimited. I never.
Oh!
I knew it!
I never.
Oh my god,
We killed Sabrina.
that was
That was it.
utterly iconic. She's
TikTok clip.
she's not even back.
That is a TikTok clip. She's gone.
It's-
Ew.
this is I feel really bad for the audio only people right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You fell underneath my
For
bed.
audio only, Sabrina just died.
It's under her bed. She
In the
still
spirit.
can't find it.
Not spirit, in excitement. Not spirit.
Reddit said Sabrina is dead.
Dead.
No.
Oh god, she's back.
Now I'm back.
Oh my god, she's alive!
Oh, just in
You were
time.
so underneath
Why?
She's
Oh god.
so
I think
underneath
we're
my bed. I had to like go. Oh my god. That was so bad.
We don't know, Dreaded. We don't know.
Oh,
the
Sorry.
most chaotic ending to an episode we've ever had.
yeah,
It really is.
absolutely.
I think Sabrina just kind of like combusted. Or
Yeah, a little
what's
bit.
the other one where you like
Imploded.
imploded.
She's
I,
alive.
I think she imploded.
Hi guys,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
Maximum thanks to Sith Morrison and to Dreaded for being here,
And Little Wolfie.
and to Lil Woofy as well. Everyone, make sure you're subscribed and ringing those bells so you don't miss any of our live shows, because you know, if you don't catch it live, did it really happen?
You never know what chaotic energy you're gonna miss.
Yeah. Follow us at Last Scare on Twitter and TikTok.
We post sometimes.
We got clips there. Yeah, there's stuff there.
Post occasionally. You never know when Sabrina's gonna implode. Maybe next time Blake will implode. But until
Ooh,
then,
yes.
Maybe.
Blake next.
Yeah.
we never know. We have some interesting stuff coming up.
Yeah, there's gonna be another movie of five. There's gonna be another Five Nights movie someday, and Matthew Lillard.
I was thinking about Eli Roth, but yeah, that too is happening.
Yeah, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving is coming up pretty
Always
soon.
thinking about Eli Roth.
I know you are, Blake.
One of our next
The
steps
Roman Empire.
is our black horror episode. If you go to our Twitter, you can see the list of movies we'll be
I don't know
discussing.
how to fix it.
Well, I said being disgusting. We're gonna talk about black horror. Check out our
We're gonna
Twitter.
talk about stuff.
The list is
Next
there.
week's gonna be crazy, fellas.
And just like Matthew Lillard, our man, our dude.
He
Right back.